In this video, I'll show you how to make a minimal or bare bones level in C4. First of all, we'll start with a full install of the C4 game engine. This is version 1.59. Now I'm going to be using the game DLL, so we need to ensure that we're actually loading the proper game DLL. This is an implementation of a game. It could be one of many different ones. You can see here I have GT Demo Char, Simple Ball, and Simple Char. I actually want to load game DLL. In order to do that, we have to change the configuration file, which is located under our C4 root folder. Go under Data, then go under Engine, open variables.config in a text editor, check and make sure that game is being loaded. This is just the base of the full file name. So game.dll will be game. So I already have it configured properly, so I'll just close that, back up 2 directories. So now I'm in the root again. So now what I'm going to do is run c4.exe. Since variables.config is properly set, we know that game DLL will be loading. So if I run c4.exe, it will load up game DLL. So I double clicked on C4 and it brings up the game. So this is actually a custom menu specific to game DLL. We actually want to get to the level editor. So I'm going to hit tilde. This brings up the command console as well as a menu. You can see here under Tools we have several different options. I'm going to choose New World. So this will load up the level editor with a brand new world with actually nothing in it. So right now we don't have enough of a level to do any sort of interaction in the game. At bare minimum we want to create a floor and a spawn point for the player to spawn when they load the level. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the floor. You'll notice that the C4 level editor, it looks very similar to 3D editing software such as CAD software or 3D Studio or Maya can all be configured with this sort of view. So we have overhead view, side views, and a perspective view as well. There's not much to look at right now because there's nothing here. There's several different interaction styles we can change between selection, translating objects, rotating, scaling, a few other special tools, some for selection, tools for dealing with lighting. We'll get to those eventually. You also see on the left here is essentially a ribbon with several different controls. They're called pages. There's only a few of them loaded right now. Some of them are hidden. We can actually load more from the file menu. Go up to the top, choose page, and you can see the ones that are selected have these bullets next to them. If I wanted to add another one to the ribbon, for instance the skybox tool, I can click it. It'll be added to the ribbon at the bottom. So currently it's off screen, so I can actually scroll down on the ribbon. In order to scroll down on the ribbon, the only way I know how to do it is to put your mouse over it and scroll the mouse wheel. So if you don't have a mouse wheel, that'll be a problem. So if you're working on a laptop, you'll either need to add a mouse or you will need to configure your touchpad to emulate a scroll wheel up or down, provided you actually have that capability. So you can see I can scroll down and there's the skybox. Okay, so I am actually going to create the floor for our level now. Now you can either use a plate would be appropriate, or a box. Now I actually like to use a box because I occasionally have some collision trouble with plates, like falling through the floor, especially if they're angled or if you're using the PhysX extension. So I generally recommend you use a box. And the current scale of the world at the default view makes for things that are a little bit too tiny, so I'm going to scroll back a ways so I can just make a big floor area. And I'm going to drag out a box. And if you hold down shift while you're dragging, you can maintain a one-to-one aspect ratio for the shapes you're drawing. So if you don't do that, you'll see I can make a slender rectangle, but if I wanted a perfect square, just hold down Shift. And it works similarly for circles. You can make perfect circles or ovals if you don't hold down Shift. Alright, so I'm going to draw out this box and then let go of the mouse button so it's created that shape. In the side view over here, you'll notice that the box that I just drew is very large, so I'm actually going to flatten it down. So I'm going to choose the scale nodes control. I'm going to grab one of the control points, shrink it down a good ways, zoom in a bit, then I'm going to translate it down so that the floor is at a z value of 0. Okay, so that's got my floor here. I can also play with this perspective view. This is the free camera move that lets you rotate around, and you can actually use the scroll wheel to zoom out a ways. Okay, so here we're kind of floating above the level, looking down. I'm just left clicking and dragging around to move the camera, scroll wheel to back up a ways. Alright, so that gives us a view. Now you'll notice that it's not very exciting. There's no texture involved, and we'll fix that later. We'll add a material. So right now it's just all white, and we have this box here. So the next thing I'm going to add is a location marker for a position. So I've loaded up a new page. I chose from page, went to markers, enabled that, and I scrolled down. With the game DLL, there's several that are already registered for you, several marker types. There's one called spawn. I'm just going to drop a spawn point somewhere on the level. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move it up just a little bit so we're not right at a z value of 0. Sometimes you can fall through the floor if you don't move things up. Now, just to show you how this looks, we're not really done yet, but I'm going to show you what happens if we try to play the level. So I'm going to do save and play world. So initially I don't have anything here. I don't have a default file name, so I'm going to go under tutorial and world, and that's where I'm going to save my file. And I'll call this demo. Okay, so I have my level saved as demo. Actually didn't play, so you save and play, and you'll see that there is a floor here. There's something appears to be in the sky, but you'll notice it's not quite drawing right. In fact, it will never redraw the sky because I haven't properly configured how the sky is rendered, so it very quickly gets to the point where it's unusable or unplayable. This video is continued in Part B.